It's already been happening for an hour ago. Started for an hour already. You can see in Ronald's fans live. Okay, so the Prague police are coming over right now. So I'll let you see. So basically, they are dividing. They are pushing the journalists to go backwards, where protesters have nowhere to be found. So, protesters were gathering here today in response to last year's July 21st protest. It was actually an attack, a mob gang attack. So the riot police are pushing us backward, as you can see. So on the July 21st, dozens of people were injured after a group of men in white shirts turned at the train station with iron bars and wooden sticks and began to beat up people, civilians, reporters, protesters, everyone who are returning from a rally on on the Hong Kong Island side that day. So they are pushing. Thank you. Hello. So we're now in Hong Kong. Hong Kong, Yuen Long. So, excuse me, 唔該你姐. Excuse me. So we have found the protesters at the back. So they are chanting out slogans, meaning that on the 21st of July, they were nowhere to be found. But now, ironically, they have arrived very soon before the protest the gathering even started. So as you can see, so protesters are now at the back of me, behind me. So we are in Yuen Long Yo Hong Mall. So this event has started for around an hour ago. So let me give you some background information first. So on the 21st of July last year, dozens of people injured after a group of men in white shirts turned up at the train station with iron bars and wooden sticks and began to beat up civilians, reporters, and protesters who are returning from a rally on the Hong Kong Island side that day. And that mob attack happened here in the Yuen Long MTR station. So which is why every month they will hold up an commencement gathering, and since it's been a year already, so this is the first anniversary, and this was meant to be a very big gathering, but of course the police knows about that, so they have arrived very soon before the protest even started. So around 10 to 20 minutes ago, the police have checked all the journalists' identities, including me. So they have written down all the journalists' names and news outlets' name to keep a record. So this 21st event was a very memorable day in the whole Hong Kong anti-extradition bill protest, throughout the whole protest, because due to this violence, many people have started to raise the fears that on the organized. So They are now forcing everyone to leave. The police just said through the microphone that everyone have to leave. They are trying to arrest people using the um, not arrest. They are trying to ask people to leave using the COVID-19 restriction policy. So this actually have been happening in Hong Kong for a year already. So um, we are now here in response to what happened last year on the 21st of July. So on the 21st of July, so on the 21st of July, the police did not show up. They have been very late, and they have spent 39 minutes to arrive at the spot, and civilians got beaten up by child gangs who wore white shirts. They hold up iron bars and wooden stick to beat up civilians, reporters, and protesters who were returning from a rally from the Hong Kong Island side that day. Yes, it is very terrible here. Um, I'm not sure if it's the same situation as the United States, but these kind of gatherings and protests have been happening for a year already, starting from last June. So at this moment, all you can see are riot police because the protesters have already left after they chant out slogans. So the kind of left is not like they leave the area, but they are trying to do a tactic called be water. So the protesters have been doing using this tactic um, for a year in Hong Kong already. So the tactic is actually like started some events or maybe some chanting out slogan in one area and immediately changed to another area so the police would not know where have they gone in order to minimize the number of arrests. So we're now in Hong Kong Yoho Mall. So the police have done a few um, stop and searches on civilians as well as the district council just now. And they are now forcing people to leave, as you can see. So they're calling people to leave. So I'm just going to talk more detailedly what happened on the 21st of July last year. So around 100 of white-clad attackers with connection of the tribe members have beaten up civilians at Yuen Long MTR station, which is here. So two policemen have arrived at the scene but turned their heads and walked away from the civilians. So the senior superintendent has responded to that saying that they were not walking away but trying to think at a bigger scenario. So, but the opposing side said that he tried to shift the blame from the police force to the victims of the Yuen Long attack. So due to the attack, the train bypassed the Yuen Long station and was ordered to close. I will be careful. I have put my helmet on, and I have my press vest and press pass with me right now. But we're not sure what action will the police take. Um, so they have already been standing by around the whole district for few hours already, around 2 to 3 hours. The the protest, the gathering have started for an hour. As you can see in Ronald's live streaming, and Ronald and I got um, got searched for our press pass. They were very worried that there will be fake reporters, so they have um, spent a lot of time to check each and one of the journalists to make sure that they were registered journalists. So since I'm not registered in the Hong Kong Journalists Association, so my name and my identification got written down by the police just for just for record. But we're not sure what will they do to it. So yeah. So because of last year's sudden mob attack, so there were 45 people hospitalized following the violence in the Yuen station, with one person in critical condition and five remain in serious condition that that day. And so far, there are only 37 people in between the age of 18 to 61 have been arrested and connected with the case. Seven of them were charged with rioting and conspiring. But the number did not change and were the same as what the force announced since last November and December. So um, many protesters and many protesters supporters actually brought out the question that whether the police have did their job in investigating what have happened on the July 21st last year. So we're not sure if the police were brought in from mainland. There were a lot of conspiracy theories and but so every time if the police are doing and taking any force on journalists, so many of the journal will ask him to show the identification just to make sure that they're registered Hong Kong police force. So till now we're still not sure whether the police were brought in from the mainland China. But these are they claim to be the Hong Kong police force. Hello, hello. We're now in Hong Kong. So let's move to the other side. So I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there was some chanting of slogans by protesters, um, calling five demand, not one less, and uh, revolution of our time. Excuse me, God. Excuse me. So so here are some of the riot police. They were surrounding the whole area. All the police to go die. Yes, it's great that you guys can hear it. So they are. So the police have really bad reputation. One of the issues is because um, they arriving very late um, on the 21st on the 21st of July, and thank you for sharing it. I would love to get more people from different countries to know what is happening in Hong Kong. So the police got really bad reputation because of the police brutality, and because they were said that a lot of protesters believe that the police have and the not in function that day. So no one can get in touch with the posters, banners in response to the July 21st um, incident. So in Chinese, if you could, in Chinese they were saying that they were seeking for the truth for the 21st of July. There are of um, a bunch of banners. So as you can see from here, so translate into English, it means that the ultimate victory will belong to the Hong Kong people. Thank you for watching from different countries. So we're now in Hong Kong, and again the protesters have went nowhere to be seen. As I was saying that they were using a tactic called be water. So it would be like kind of like flash mob of um, chanting slogans. Uh, yep. So at this moment, what you are seeing is very peaceful right now, without any police, protesters, only journalists and civilians. So all the shops, most of the shops, most of the shop have already shut down. Only some of them were still open. So they are shouting at this shopkeeper because she was she was taking photos of protesters, and these kind of identities is very important to to protesters and all Hong Kong people right now because especially because of the national security law. Every time they come out for protest, it's actually taking a very big risk. So, not to so you can imagine, like taking like mugshot photo will cause a great harm to all the protesters. So, which is why just now they were shouting at the shopkeeper and trying to take her mugshot from their phone. So again, we're now in Hong Kong, and we're not sure if. So everyone was saying that the shopkeeper is being ridiculous for not closing down her shop. Not to mention that she was were taking mugshot photos of the protesters. Of course, there were other verbal attacks towards the um, the shopkeeper, including the way that she went. So she has now the shop has decided to close down. So all the protesters were shouting out verbal attack, giving a verbal attack to the shopkeeper. But as you can see, most of the shop were shut down. Only a few were still open at the moment. So right now everything is really peaceful, but we're not sure what will happen later. So everything everything is very unexpected. So like maybe a few minutes later they will chant slogan, or maybe police will have arrived to the end of the shopping mall. So again, today we're gathered here in response to what happened last year on the 21st of July, the sudden white cloud mob attack that have caused 45 people hospitalized, and the police arriving 39 minutes after they have received the message that um, that there were a bunch of tribe members um, attacking civilians, protesters, reporters who were on their way back home from from work. From some of the protesters went to the Hong Kong Island side for the protest last year. So this incident have caused um, have caused the protest like have been a very memorial and important day event in the whole throughout the whole anti-extradition bill protest. So we're not sure. Actually, we're not sure where we should go right now because there are only a few journalists here, and we're not sure where the protesters were heading. So they're spreading out right now. So let me talk into more detail about what really happened on the 21st of July while we maybe move around so you guys can take a look and see how the Hong Kong shopping malls look like, since I believe you guys will be in the lockdown as well. So so for the 21st of July, um, around 100 white-clad attackers with connection with the child members has indiscriminately beat civilians at the Yunlong MTR station. The two policemen arrived at the scene but turned their heads and walked away from the civilians. And due to the violence, the train has bypassed the Yunlong station, and was ordered to close at around midnight. So after the midnight, the white shirt attackers forced open the station's shutters to launch a second wave of attack on passengers. And there were no police officers. So by the time Route police arrived, police have been accused of ignoring distress calls and walking away from the scene, while Route police did not arrive until 39 minutes after receiving initial reports. So on that day, there were 45 people hospitalized following the violence in Yunlong Station, with one person in critical condition and five remain in serious condition at that time. So this incident has raised fear that organized crime gangs who are known and operate in the outer area of the city are becoming involved in the political crisis. So the police have also been accused, or there were the protesters have believed that police have connection with the tribe members. So with the reason that they have arrived very late, 39 minutes after they received the first initial calls. So far there are only 37 people got arrested, um, and this number has not been changed in the past 8 months, as the current number was the same as what the force has announced last November and December. So at this moment, what you can see is some of um, the banners and banners put out by the protesters before they left. So I'm just going to do a brief translation. So the one on the right hand side, the Chinese character was from the China's anthem China's anthem. So it means that get up and no longer be a slave anymore. So this was actually was quoted was quoting the China's anthem, and the one next to it is the ultimate victory will belongs to Hong Kong people. So as I can hear some chanting again. So we're just going to move to the other side and see what's happening now. So this is kind of a big mall. So some, but sorry. So they have. So these are the protesters. They are chanting out slogans of revolution of our times. And the protesters have said, in the other side of the mall, the police have put out the blue flag already, which means that they could use force to disperse the crowd. Well, so here are some interesting. Oh fuck! The police. Sorry, the police have arrived. So the protesters have got in. Sorry for the foul language. I was quite. I was so frightened. So because the sound they were moving, the noise they were moving, as they were moving. As the police have arrived seconds. So as you can hear, the protesters have continued to chant out slogans, which translate in English is revolution of our time. So protesters are still chanting out slogans. So the slogan of revolution of our times was actually banned in Hong Kong. It was considered to be offending the national security law. So minutes earlier, the police have already put out. They have put out the purple flag, which means the national security law flag, just now. For turning so fast, the protesters continue to chant out slogans. So we're now following the group of riot police as well as the journalists. Sorry for shaky footage. So here are the riot police. So the police were heading to trying to arrest people who were chanting out slogans and protesters. So they're moving in the shopping mall, trying to arrest them. But as what I was saying just now, the protesters were using the tactic of the water. So it will be very difficult for the police to catch them one by one, all one by one. So, so it was so sudden that the police have taken action. Um, because it only took them few seconds to get from the other side of the mall to the exit. They have they have put out the blue flag just now, meaning that they could use force to disperse the crowd. So the protesters are using foul language in the slogans, which the slogan was pinpointing the police officers. So, um, so they're calling the police to go die directly in direct translation. So this So we're back to square one. We're just going back to the same position that way we were at the beginning of the broadcast. So um, there were different kind of banners and um, in translation, just police did until third after they received the initial call. Yes, because now under a very serious situation, uh, COVID-19 situation. We're having our third wave with around 100 local around 100 local cases for every day. So that's basically it. Since I assume that nothing will be happening in the following minutes, but if there is anything happening, I will keep you guys posted, and I will turn my broadcast on either on here through our HAPS .tv application or using our HAPS account on Reddit. So you guys can find us through Reddit as well. So I'll keep you guys posted. So that's basically it. So bye for now. So again.